Okay, picture this. You've got a fourth grader, right? And they hand in this just flawless paragraph about civil rights. Really thoughtful stuff.
Wow, yeah. Impressive for that age.
Totally. But then you find out those words, they didn't come from the kid, not from a book, not from their own head. They came from, well, a robot.
Ah, okay. I see where this is going.
Exactly. It's happening right now, you know, in the classrooms everywhere. There's this kind of silent revolution going on.
Not loud protests, but screen taps.
Precisely. Screen taps and generative AI doing the heavy lifting, the thinking. And it feels like education isn't just shifting. It's quietly starting to fall apart.
A silent collapse.
That's what we're diving into today, how AI is changing education in ways maybe nobody expected. We're looking at this silent collapse and what it really means for learning, for critical thinking. We've gathered some pretty eye-opening sources.
Yeah, the goal here is to really unpack what's happening beneath the surface.
You know, when AI first started making waves in education, the hype was huge. Everyone thought, okay, this is it. Smarter, faster, more accessible learning.
Leveling the playing field, helping kids learn deeper. That was the dream, wasn't it?
It really was. And honestly, for a little while there, it felt kind of magical.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, think about it. You're stuck on some, I don't know, complex calculus problem. Just ask the AI.
Right. Or read a summary of War and Peace like yesterday.
Boom. Done in seconds. It felt like this amazing shortcut, you know, like late night study panic was maybe a thing of the past.
But that's where the shift starts, isn't it? That initial magic. It didn't quite last.
How did it change?
Well, what the sources are showing is that slowly things started feeling off. Students weren't asking as many questions. That natural curiosity, it seemed to dip.
And the answers they were getting?
They felt, I don't know, hollow, robotic maybe, disconnected from an actual human brain doing the work, the learning.
It didn't start everywhere at once though, right?
No, it was small things at first. A student submits an AI essay here, another uses it for a quick science answer there.
And maybe teachers just thought, okay, kids being a bit lazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just laziness. It was the start of something, well, something bigger and, frankly, kind of darker, more systemic.
Yeah, I can imagine. Try putting yourself in a teacher's position for a second. You spend hours prepping lessons, right? Trying to spark something.
Pouring your energy into it.
Then you get this essay back. Perfect grammar, amazing structure, vocabulary off the charts.
Sounds great initially.
Until you ask the student, hey, explain the sentence, or what does this word you use mean? And they just blank stare.
Oof, that sinking feeling.
Right. You realize you're not grading their work. You're grading a ghostwriter. An AI that never struggled, never questioned, never really understood.
And it's not just isolated cases anymore, is it?
Not at all. This is what really hit me hearing from an elementary school aide. Elementary school.
Wow. What'd they say?
Just laid it out plain. Our students are using AI on almost everything. So they can't explain their answers, don't even know the words the AI spits out.
So it's becoming the norm, the default.
Pretty much. And, you know, people say, just block the tools, block Google. But it's not that simple. Schools rely on tech now for everything. Reading apps, research. You can't just switch it off.
No, you really can't. Which brings us to this really crucial point, the struggle, the productive struggle in learning. It seems to be dying.
What do you mean?
Think about old school cheating. It actually took some effort, right?
Yeah, whispering, passing notes, frantically searching Quizlet.
Right. And sometimes, honestly, you might accidentally learn something just trying to cheat.
Makes sense. But now,
as one source put it, you just ask the robot, poof, instant answer.
So none of that friction, that mental effort.
Gone. And that's where the real learning happens.
Yeah.
In that struggle.
Yeah.
Without it. Well, it's got huge consequences.
Like what?
One teacher put it really starkly. Said students will never know the value of working towards something again. Feared their brains will turn into mush.
Wow. That's intense.
It is, but maybe not wrong. We're seeing critical thinking erode. Kids losing the ability to build an argument, to question things, even to trust their own thoughts.
Because the AI always sounds smarter.
Exactly. Why trust your own fumbling thoughts when the machines sound so confident?
Okay, but here's the really wild part. The part that makes this whole thing so insidious.
With that.
On the surface, everything looks fine. Grades are good. Assignments turned in on time. Graduation rates are actually climbing.
So it looks like progress, an illusion of it anyway.
Totally. A great cover-up. But then you dig a little deeper. Look at the test scores. Sources are reporting kids getting 100% on their homework thanks AI and then bombing the actual test, like 20%.
20%. But they still pass.
Yeah, because the homework often counts for half the grade.
Yeah.
The AI work props them up.
Okay, that's worrying.
And even if they still can't pass, there are these special programs popping up designed to basically push them through, help them catch up, and graduate.
So we're graduating kids who, despite the grades, might not actually know the material.
That seems to be the implication. The whole system just kind of pretends it's working.
Yeah, it's like a collective denial. We hand out the diplomas, celebrate the stats.
And quietly forget that maybe these kids aren't really learning, they're just surviving the system.
Which is a huge problem. We're essentially training them to game a system, not to actually understand things.
So what happens when teachers do try to fight this? When they try to stop the AI misuse?
Well, often they're just told, you need to teach AI properly.
But what does that even mean? Is there a guide? Like, here's how you teach kids to use the cheating machine responsibly.
Exactly. It's vague. So teachers are trying all sorts of things, going back to paper and pencil only.
Old school.
Making kids write essays in class by hand. One teacher even mentioned comparing typed work to handwritten samples to spot the difference.
That sounds exhausting. Just trying to ensure the work is actually theirs.
It is exhausting, and often it feels kind of futile.
Plus, isn't there a downside for the teachers who try too hard?
There really is a powerful disincentive. One source pointed out, if you make your class too hard to cheat in,
Kids leave.
kids transfer to an easier class, your enrollment drops, and eventually that could impact your job.
Wow. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Unsupported, really.
Pretty much. It's not just about students avoiding effort, it's about what AI is. It's different from, say, a calculator.
How so? A calculator gives you an answer, too.
Right, but a calculator gives you a precise, verifiable answer based on math. Generative AI. It's more like a super sophisticated mimic. It predicts the next word based on patterns it learned from vast amounts of text.
So it doesn't think.
Not like humans do.
Yeah.
And because it's just predicting, it can confidently hallucinate, basically, make stuff up.
Hallucinate facts, like just invent things.
Exactly. It can present totally wrong information, but make it sound incredibly articulate and correct. Unlike a calculator making an error, AI's mistakes can be subtle and sound very persuasive.
And students just believe it?
Often, yes, because it sounds so smart, so fluent. They submit the wrong work. They absorb misinformation. And crucially, they stop checking things. Why would they? The robot sounds sure.
So let's be blunt. Most students aren't using this for help in understanding.
No, let's be really clear based on what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Most are using it to just get out of doing the work altogether.
Okay, so where does this leave the students? What are the consequences for them, for learning?
Well, we're starting to see this kind of split, almost a divide and conquer effect.
Meaning?
The already bright, motivated students, they figure out how to use AI as a tool to enhance their learning, maybe explore ideas faster.
Okay, that sounds potentially positive.
But the students who are struggling, or maybe less motivated, they tend to use it as a replacement for effort.
Yeah.
To just bypass the learning entirely.
And you can see the difference.
Oh, absolutely. Ask them to explain something in their own words, or write something by hand. The gap becomes painfully obvious. It's widening.
And what about parents? How are they reacting to all this?
They're caught in a really tough spot. They're worried.
Worried about?
Well, some are trying to hold the line, right? Limit screen time, insist on handwritten work. But then they worry. Will my kid's real work, their authentic effort, look less impressive?
Compared to the slick AI-generated stuff from other kids?
Exactly. Will it sound as good? Will a teacher, maybe overwhelmed, unfairly grade it down because it doesn't have that AI polish?
Will they even notice the difference? It's a genuine fear that authentic work might actually be punished.
It is. And there are no easy answers for them right now. That uncertainty is really difficult for parents.
People keep comparing AI to the calculator, though. We adapted to calculators. We'll adapt to this. Is that fair?
It's a common comparison, but the sources argue it's fundamentally different. Like we said, calculators don't hallucinate facts. They don't mimic human writing style.
Right. And there's another key difference in how we introduce them, isn't there?
Absolutely critical point. Think about math. We learned how to do long division, multiplication, the principles, before they handed us the calculator as a shortcut.
We built the foundation first.
Yes. Now, as one source powerfully noted, it feels like We're giving kids the robot first and praying they learn something later.
Which leads to the obvious question.
Why bother learning something you never actually have to use if the robot always does it for you? That's the core problem with this flipped approach.
Okay, so let's face it, AI isn't going away. It's only getting better, faster, more integrated.
Undeniably true. It's here to stay and will only become more capable.
Which leaves us really with two paths. Choice A, we adapt, like right now, fast.
Or choice B?
Or choice B, we just let it happen, let AI slowly hollow out education until there's not much real learning left.
That's a pretty stark choice. So if we choose adaptation, what does that look like? What's the path forward?
The sources offer some clear ideas. It's about making students AI literate, not AI dependent.
Okay, literate, not dependent. What does that mean in practice?
It means designing assignments that AI can't just answer. Things that require genuine creativity, critical analysis, stuff a pattern matcher can't fake.
Right, more focus on the process of thinking.
Exactly. More in-person discussion, handwritten drafts maybe, making students actually defend their ideas orally, stand up and explain their reasoning.
And crucially, teaching them the limits. Teaching them when not to use AI.
Yes, understanding what it's good for and what it's absolutely terrible for, because it is a powerful tool, no doubt.
But without those boundaries, without that critical literacy,
it becomes a crutch. Or worse, as one source said, a trap.
Yeah, so this really goes way beyond just grades or what happens inside school walls.
Absolutely. It's about the kind of people we're shaping for the future, the kind of thinkers, workers, citizens.
Are we raising a generation that asks tough questions, that innovates, creates, challenges the status quo?
Or are we raising a generation that just knows how to copy, paste, and basically obey whatever the algorithm tells them?
That's the fundamental question, isn't it? And it's not some far-off future scenario we need to worry about eventually.
No. The sources make it clear. This isn't a future we're heading towards. We are smack dab in the middle of it right now. The choice needs to be made.